Back-to-back defeats at the Emirates in two different competitions for Arsenal. 2-0 loss against Newcastle in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final, and then beaten by 10-man Manchester United in the FA Cup on penalties. And of course, next up, it's Spurs at the Emirates on Wednesday. Arsenal fans, let's hear from you. 03717 223344 is the number. Give us a call. Let's get the thoughts of broadcaster and huge Arsenal fan now, Piers Morgan. Morning, Piers.
Good morning, Piers.
Happy New Year, gentlemen.
Happy New Year to you.
Too.
Look, Piers.
Let's get the nice stuff out of the way early.
Okay, that's probably the last nice
Here
moment.
we go.
Have Arsenal been negligent in not bringing a new striker in?
You think? I mean, look, how many times have I been on your show in the last, I don't know, say 3 years since Aubameyang got shoved out the door, who was a genuinely world-class striker, in my opinion, and had an amazing scoring record for Arsenal. And all right, Arteta didn't want him, fine. So who are you going to replace him with? And the reality is, I very calmly, each time I've gone on, politely suggested we need to sign a proper striker. The days for calm are now over, gentlemen. We need a bloody striker!
Where are you going to get one? Who should you get?
I would literally go right now with a barrel load of cash, drive to Newcastle, and I would offer Newcastle whatever it takes. I don't care. 100 million, 120 million, 140 million, 150 million. I will find the players from our 87 defenders that Arteta's bought in the last 2 years. I will find the players to make up the cash and do the fair play league stuff, right? But we should break the bank for Alexander Isak. The way we play, the chances we create. Do you know how many chances we've had? How many shots we've had in this week? Right? This week alone, 49 shots. Do you know how many goals we scored? 1. Do you know who scored it? Gabriel, a central defender. Right, if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. We do not have a proper striker. And one of our two makeshift strikers, Gabriel Jesus, now looks like he's out for the season, which is heartbreaking for him after the last injury he had, and I feel incredibly sorry for him. But the idea that Kai Havertz is going to be the guy that wins you big trophies, leading the line for Arsenal, is for the birds, and every Arsenal fan knows it. Why doesn't Mikel Arteta know it? Why does he entrust everything in this guy who's a perfectly good footballer, Havertz, but he is not a number 9, he's not a striker.
No, well, you just heard, Piers, you just heard Mikel Arteta in our clip there saying that there are very few teams in the world who are at our level.
Totally deluded. I'm sorry, but I've been to these games. It's totally delusional to think that right now we're not even playing at the level we played at last season. We're nowhere near that level. Last season we were attacking, and the season before we were attacking, we had flair, we were exciting to watch. All right, and we came up just short when we should have won the league both seasons, and that was criminal negligence in not getting over the line, and I've ranted about that before. But okay, you look for progression. Have Arsenal progressed? Did we progress in the transfer window? Did we go and fill the void that we obviously needed to fill, which was a proper striker? No, we went and got Marino, who I think is a very mediocre player, offers us very little in the way of creativity. So all the pressure in the midfield for creativity is Odegaard. And he didn't play badly last night, but he's the only one. And when he was out, we looked very, very poor in midfield in terms of creativity. We miss Saka desperately. He's the only world-class player we have up front, in my estimation. But that doesn't fill the void. And the void is bleedingly obvious. And I just do not understand why Arteta has not been able to work out, in his incredibly cerebral way that he seems to do everything else, that the problem is the attacker. Do you know, since he joined the club in 2019, I was reading in the Mail today by Izan Khan, we've signed 6 attacking players, but we've signed 17 defenders in that time. Right? I mean, none of this makes sense to me. Arsenal have only ever won big trophies when we've had big strikers. Thierry Henry, Nicolas Anelka, Ian Wright, Robin Van Persie. You think about it. When have we ever won the league without a big striker? We haven't.
We effectively, Jeff and I are agreeing with just about everything you've said, to be quite honest with you. But I'll ask you one. Clearly you're going to miss Saka. Any team would miss Saka because he's absolutely top class.
Yeah.
But I would suggest one of the players that you mentioned there, Martin Odegaard, who is an absolutely fabulous player. I just don't think he's hit the heights that he had
No, he hasn't.
before the
I don't
injury?
think he has. No, I don't think he has. And he's still recovering, I think, from that injury. He looked a little bit sharper last night than he has in the previous few games. But Odegaard is definitely not performing at the level he did last season. Martinelli is not performing at the level he was performing at 18 months ago, 2 years ago. I don't know why. But all of the, I saw John Cross in the Mirror tweeting my exact thoughts last night, which is we've just become boring to watch. It's boring.
Yeah.
We're very pedestrian. I mean, this constant tippy-tapping from sideways to sideways to sideways. If you look back at the Invincibles, if you literally just watched a load of videos of the Invincibles and you watched how we played one-touch football, incredibly quick from back to the front, right? We got it to Pires and those guys up to Henri Bergkamp as fast as we possibly could. And it was always one touch at speed, incredibly fluid, incredibly fast. I watched us last night. It's like watching a bunch of crabs on the beach. Honestly, it is. We get the ball, and the first thought is not attack and go forward and drive forward. The first thought is go sideways and see who you can pass it to sideways. Why? How are we going to win like that?
Piers, I look forward to the response from Newcastle fans. Thank you very much indeed.
They're coming in already.
50 million for Isak right now in cash.
Piers, there's one
cash.
or two Newcastle fans already coming in with their views on it. There are not too many agree with you, I have to say.
Thanks,
I'm
Piers.
sure they don't. But you know what? If you want to win big trophies and you want to be ruthless, you've got to sign the best players. Isak, right now, best striker in Europe. Arsenal, break the bloody bank.
Thanks, Piers.
All the best.
Thanks, guys.
Yes. Just very quickly, Andy, who describes himself as the disgruntled Arsenal fan. You didn't need to describe yourself as that, Andy, because I've read your text. Listen to this. Arsenal are the best team in the league at playing on the edge of the opposition's box. It's useless. So frustrating to be an Arsenal fan. We start each game with the commentators saying, Arsenal have flown out of the traps. They look up for it today. By 30 minutes, it's 0-0 and we've missed chances. Then 60 minutes, we have a goal ruled out. And then it's a draw or we lose come 90 minutes. Awful. However, United was shocking yesterday. I don't know how anyone can give them any credit. That's what makes it even worse. The FA Cup was a good target for us in a bad season. I can see the steam coming out of Andy's ears right now. Coming up, we begin to celebrate 25 years of talkSPORT. Yes, that's right. Alan Brazil has lasted 25 years as talkSPORT breakfast host. What's your favourite moment in the history of the world's biggest sports radio station? We bring you a classic clip next.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.